That's the advantage of having a wide angle lens. You just put it like right in front of you and you can get everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we already started.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Three Stack Podcast. I'm Boom Razzle, joined by my co-host Huge Poner and Kangaroo. Today we have a very special guest, the notorious Sam Woodhall. Welcome, Sam. What's up,
Hi.
dude?
I'm
Hey,
doing
Sam.
good, man. How about you guys?
We're good.
Well,
We're good. I just put my kid down to
Fantastic.
sleep, and he's still asleep, it seems like, so we're good to
And he's
go.
got
No,
20
no
minutes.
loud noises. No loud noises.
I would say
Subtle
90%
movements.
chance he won't wake up within the first hour, but then like after the first hour, it goes like 50-50. So
Got you.
he's just kind of chilling out there.
Oh.
Yeah. He's,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Like I was just face down.
yeah
Just like
he can't,
completely out.
he doesn't,
okay,
Down.
movie.
he can't really sleep on his, I mean, he can sleep on his back, but it's like he's much more comfortable on his belly.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Very much
We just-
exactly the same for me.
Just do what he wants.
Yeah.
He's trained us.
I'm a back sleeper personally.
I'm a side sleeper
Side sleeper, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Same.
with one leg up. Like if this is my legs, it'd be like this.
You know,
That's a
one
comfy
thing I've
pose.
actually been doing recently. It's weird how I was actually thinking about this. I was actually thinking about this last night. How weird is this? This conversation I was thinking about. But like, one thing I've been doing is I've been doing that thing where you get a pillow and you put it between your legs
Ooh.
Mhm.
to sleep
Yeah.
because it supports like the pelvic bone and everything. And
Oh,
it's actually helped a bit. I'm not gonna lie.
And then you cut the
It does
hole
help.
in it.
Oh my god.
We won't talk about that.
All right, fair enough.
That's
Just
why
me,
Sam.
just me?
That's why Sam goes through so many goddamn pillows.
The My Pillow guy.
It's not a
loves-
waifu pillow, okay? It's not a waifu pillow. All right, we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Great start to the episode.
Oh
Excellent.
my god.
Great start, cracking episode.
Jeez.
So Sam, when we have guests on for the first time, we definitely like to like start at the basics. So if you don't mind explaining a little bit,
who
your,
are you?
your background, who are you?
Who the hell are
Um,
you?
You know, you could start at any point, you know, like birth, high school, whatever,
my
you
birth,
know,
yeah.
whatever you think is relevant.
Yeah, what's
what
Genesis
we're going to be
here?
talking about.
We want the origin story.
Yeah.
Origin
yeah.
story. I mean, I think I'll start probably like from I guess where my notoriety started. Like, I guess like I've always been like I started doing like video editing and motion graphic design since I was about 14, 15-ish, that kind of age range. And over the years, I've always been really keen on starting a YouTube channel and kind of building my internet career off. And it wasn't until I think like 2018 that I really decided to put some effort into it. I had started my own business in like video production and like video creation for businesses and clients, but I wasn't really feeling it. Like I felt like I was still doing work for somebody else. That makes sense.
Mhm.
But I hadn't. I had always wanted to do my own thing and do my own videos and do my own content stuff.
What age was that business, by the way?
This was like 2018, so
Oh,
how
okay.
many years ago? So it was a couple of years ago. No,
Yeah,
no,
three.
2016 I started it. I dissolved it in 2018 because I moved into YouTube and I was like, I'm not going to do any more client work.
Okay.
So that's how I got started on that. But that's kind of my beginnings. Was at the end of 2018, I stopped working for a company called the Yogscast, who are a big, I guess you could call them like a network, but they're not a network. They're a YouTube channel, but they're like a series of other channels within their under their kind of umbrella. But not like an MCN. It's not like they take the revenue or whatever. It's a case of like there's a main channel and then there's somebody else who runs another channel who is affiliated with the Yogscast. It's like a crew of people. A massive place. Like over like 1 million. I think they have over 9 million subscribers, I think, or something stupid between all of their channels combined. It's a crazy little thing. So I started working with them in end of 2018, so like November time. That's when I started streaming. And I got into Twitch because of the Yogscast. They were the main reason why I really wanted to get into Twitch and start streaming again. And because they were making YouTube content all the time, it just made sense for me to kind of do Twitch and YouTube back up with each other. And it kind of really fueled my passion again to get started. And there were other personal things that were going on at the time that kind of fueled me into this, like funneled me into this career really. And then from there, it's been pretty much downhill. Uh,
Oh my
for the
god.
most part. But yeah, so connected with Harris Heller. He was he was my main like contact within the industry. I got he started his channel. We started getting popular on his channel around the same time that I started streaming actually. And he blew up on YouTube and on Twitch. And by the time I met him, he was actually looking for an editor, a video editor, motion graphics guy. And I wanted to be involved because I thought, well, I've got no money. Getting into content creation is a hard job. I've got no money coming in because I've left this other job. I started a part-time job working at like a kind of like a phone store, like a Verizon, like a T-Mobile store, that kind of thing. So a part-time job, but it wasn't meeting the funds that I needed it to meet. So started that. Started working with Harris. Quit my job to work for him full-time. About a week after I started working at this new job, I quit completely to go back into editing. And then from there, it's been pretty much a case of just building my own brand, making my own videos, and doing my own Twitch streams as well. So that's pretty much it.
How did
Congrats
you?
on the success, man.
Yeah, dude.
thank
Big
you,
congrats.
thank you.
Did you? I guess maybe I missed it, but like, did you study like graphic design and all that stuff?
So I got people asking me if I did any like degree or course. I did a media production degree at university, but I actually because when early I started doing YouTube and filmmaking and videos and all that, I'd actually learned everything I needed to learn by the time I went to university. So I pretty much went into debt for nothing, for the sake of it. But it is what it is. But no, I did a degree just because I had, it's one of those things where to have a safety net, as people say, have something you can fall back on if you need it. There's something there as like a degree, it's a piece of paper. But I actually knew everything that I needed to learn, just from doing it day to day throughout my life.
So how did you? I guess just for like people listening who want to get into it, like how did you jump from doing your own graphic design company to suddenly working with like a giant company or a giant channel like Yogscast, and then even like through after that like meeting Harris, because like those are pretty big players, and like I feel like people start off on much humbler starts.
Humbler beginnings, yeah. I think the way I've always done is that I've always thought that my work speaks for itself, and so I always tried making things that I could put into a portfolio, just anything really. I started off with more nerdier beginnings. I guess I did a lot more Doctor Who stuff because I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. So I started designing title sequences for the show, like because out of my own passion for the show and my own passion for motion graphics, I started making like 3D animations and composites of like the TARDIS and the phone box and all those things, going through the vortex, like all the kind of like the aesthetics of the show and building up like my skills. And I used that and built a show reel and kind of portfolio based off of those skills. That got me more work because people saw that the lights asked if I could do this, and I said I could.
Is any of that on YouTube? Like, can people go find that?
Used to be. That channel no longer exists, but I do stuff like that on my Twitch channel, and I have done stuff and I've shared stuff on on Twitter and things like that.
Okay.
But I used to actually, whilst I was at the Yogscast, I actually did some work for the BBC because there was on Twitch. It's just how worlds collide. It's funny, but on Twitch they did a Twitch. They did the Twitch Plays Pokemon marathon like a few years ago.
Yeah,
they did one for Doctor Who as well, and there were some interview segments that the Yogscast filmed that were done at the Yogscast, and I made the title graphics for it. So I worked with the BBC on designing all those. Again, it's like full circle on all these things. It's pretty crazy. But just designing my own stuff, making my own things, making my own little creations, and then using that in like a show reel on YouTube. If I approached a client or brand, I said, I've designed this, what do you think of it? And so on and so forth. And making my own little kind of funny, quirky projects and things like that. It was just a great way to build my skill set in my portfolio.
That's so cool. How much do you think it's like talent versus effort? Like learning that animation stuff? Because like it still sounds like you're being like modest about it. Like that is
Yeah, you gotta have like a taste for good aesthetic.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
do.
feel like.
Yeah, you have to have the passion for it for sure. But for a long time, like I've been doing this for been doing this for over 10 years now. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I started when I was 14. I'm now 27. Not to date myself, but I am. And it's just like if I hadn't kind of initially found the passion and got bitten by that bug, I wouldn't have put in the hard work to develop those skills. I think everything starts with that desire to want to do something and want to see how you can make it work. But it takes the hard work to develop those skills, to build on that passion or that idea, to make something to like where I've probably built it now. So like I think talent without hard work is, you know, isn't really going to go anywhere. You can have a talent, you can be good at something, but without putting in the skill, the time, and the hard work to kind of nurture that, it's like growing a plant. Really, it's like, you know, it's like looking after, you know, in this case, you know, a child as well. In this case, like it's about fostering that and building that out and kind of trying loads of different things with it.
What was that like when you first started interacting with Harris? How did he discover you? Or was it like a job that you applied for?
So I because I found him because I started doing the Twitch thing, and as you do when you start a new something new, you go on YouTube and you start YouTubing away when you want to find something kind of relevant. And one of his videos popped up, and what he said kind of really clicked with me because he's been preaching for a long time about how you should make content on other platforms if you want to grow on Twitch, and that made sense to me initially when I first started. I was like, that makes perfect sense. A YouTube video is 10 minutes. A live stream can be anywhere between 2 to 3 to even 8 hours, 12 hours kind of length. So that is how I found him, through his YouTube videos. And the more and more I became part of his community, I actually kind of, weirdly enough, I started helping him edit without meaning to, because he was using Final Cut Pro at the time, and I was using Final Cut Pro, and we still use that. But I was giving him little tricks and tips as someone in his chat to help him along the way and to do stuff. And even now I'm still having those moments where he sees me do something and he goes, I've been editing in this program for so long and I still didn't know you could do that. And so that's kind of how I got introduced to him. And then when he said he was looking for an editor, I just saw it was like a opportunity, you know, landed on my lap. I was like, right, I'm going to pester this guy, you know, at him on Twitter and all that. And there was an opportunity where he was releasing a widget to the community. He was releasing what we call like the rotating metric, which shows the last 5 events in like a nice fading kind of rotating ticker kind of thing. And I was making some icons for it because when he released it, I was going to bundle them together for my own version. I was going to just like go, right, okay, copy paste. I'm going to put the icons next to it, and you know, that's going to be my version. But when he said he was thinking about doing that anyway, I reached out and said, I've already designed some. Do you want to take a look at them? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's check it out. And we collaborated on that. And when it was all done, at the end of it, he was going to close the DMs off. And I said, wait, I also edit videos as well. And that's when I kind of like slid my CV under the, you know, my resume at him. And he pretty much looked at my YouTube channel and said, how much do you charge? And that was pretty much the start of it. And that'll be nearly 2 years now. 2 years nearly in May. It'll be the first 2 years in May that we'll be working together. So that'll be kind of fun.
Wow.
Businesses are just like, I mean, I don't know. Like I just hear so much how like business is just based on relationships, you know, like,
oh, for sure.
I don't know. Like, I'm sure he could have just flipped through hundreds of applications or went through Fiverr or whatever. But honestly, like, there's a bit of, especially with like the kind of work that we do, it's like you gotta like trust the person, you know. And I'm sure that like being part of his community for so long, and actually giving him something first without, you know what I mean? Like you actually had a product figured out, and like I think that made just the whole process way easier for him. Like the decision.
I was his third editor that he went through.
What happened to the first 2?
Well, the first one...
He killed them.
He killed them. He got rid of him. So you failed me. It was like, you know, like Heisenberg style. But no, the first one botched up a lot of the sound. The second one... said he was too picky, which I can kind of agree with now, but you know what? It is what it is.
Wait,
but
the editor was too picky?
The first one. But no, the Harris was too picky.
Oh, I
So
see.
you're not going to find an editor that will ever do anything like this.
I see.
And then he found me, and I do it. So that guy was just complaining and lazy. But he went back to the first one before he found me again to try again, and it just didn't work.
Sounds
and
like
come
ex-girlfriends or something.
Yep.
It does a little bit, actually.
It really does.
Oh my
So
God.
Sam, can you kind of like go into detail and like if there's stuff that you don't want to share, please
That's
don't. Like what is your relationship with Harris, and like what do you actually do for him? It's not just video editing and that's it.
No, we pretty much we discuss ideas. We go back and forth on what could work next for the channel. Over the 2 years we've been working together, I've very much become from just an editor. In fact, even when we started, it was very much a case of he really let me take creative control over the video editing and let me put my own fingerprints all over it. Let me put little quirky remarks in there. He really let me go to town and put in my own personality to it. And that was something that was different from previous kind of working relations I was with, like the Oxcast and stuff, where everything's very much, get the video done, get it out. It's fit. This is the brand we're going for. Go for it. Whereas with Harris, he was very much a case of like put as much of you into the project as I do, and it was very much one of those things where it was very freeing to be able to kind of work with somebody that was said that, and I think that's kind of what helped build it up. And now, because I'm planning on moving, fingers crossed, to Utah to work with Harris in person, kind of getting me out there. I'm actually now not going to be the editor of the channel anymore. I'm going to be like the creative director behind it. I'm going to take on more of a hands-on approach to grabbing a camera, filming things, recording stuff, shooting B-roll, working with Scott, who I'm training to be the new editor, collaborating with him so that I can focus on like graphics or more higher end production value elements that we can add to videos to really spice them up, and leave like the editing side to somebody who I've overseen and looked at and kind of given the green check mark to. So they'll be covering that, and now I'm entering into this I'm getting promoted basically.
Right, yeah.
It's pretty
to be
sweet.
like somebody who's like more of a it feels like more like a friendship rather than like a business worker feel. So that's quite nice.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sam, I was hoping that this would be a little bit more of a how to be successful as YouTube editor man.
Oh no, we can go into that if you want.
I'm seeing like just be as unstoppable as Sam is. I'm like, good Lord.
I'm trying my best.
An incredible story.
Best.
And
yeah,
I mean, the one nugget that I take out of that is like it's very competitive, and like you made yourself exceptional. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just
thank you.
You've gone above and beyond. Like every step of the way, you were like exceeding expectations.
Yeah, I don't think people really like appreciate well edited videos and what it takes to make that. Just slapping together 5 games of Apex together takes a couple hours if you want to put actual time into it, and sometimes more depending on effects. Then you got to learn how to do the effects, and
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of effort.
Yeah, that's something you and I discussed before, Boom, when it was like you talking about me with editing and kind of the speed of it, like getting more videos done per day, and I was like, the more you do it, the more you edit, the better edit you get. And it takes time to mostly go train and to develop and that. But as soon as you sort of like, I don't have to look at the keyboard anymore when it comes to editing. I'm just look at the screen. I'm just like all over. I can edit with just the keyboard because I know how things work, and I can use keys and shortcuts and things like that. And when you're at that stage, you literally can just go right. There's 1 video, 2 videos, 3 videos, 4.
That's nuts.
And then blitz through them.
Yeah, I'm not even close to there. But the thing is like with editing for me, it's like one of the skills where, because it's self-taught and I only use and learn as much as I need to, which is actually not necessarily a good thing either, because I kind of wish that like I could expand the horizon and like learn new editing techniques. But like I don't know like barely any hotkeys or anything. So I feel like for people listening, it's kind of on you to like go out of your way to like learn these hotkeys and like learn these different techniques and stuff. And
that's kind of what I did very early on. Is I always I kind of like I loved being able to just dive in headfirst into one thing because I started really young, so most. I guess I'm kind of an exception to the rule in some cases because not many people that are speaking to nowadays are now just getting into it, and they don't have time to kind of dive into it, or they'll have like commitments that are like they'll have school or whatever. And because I was so committed early on to going, I know what I want to do, that I just dived headfirst into playing with the software and using the tools and going, what does this button do? What does this button do? Oh, Google this. What does this do? And I think that that hunger to be able to kind of just go, right, I really want to master this early on in my career was, I think, the best thing I've done in any case was just to kind of just dive in, go into the deep end, full throttle, don't look back, just go for it. I think because it has helped me nowadays to get opportunities like I'm getting.
It's so rare though. Like most people can't figure out what they want to do with their lives until maybe college and when they figure out their majors. But even then, it's like maybe even after college, people like me still didn't really figure it out until much later. So like even that head start.
People in their 50s haven't got it figured out yet. It's just one of those things where you don't have to have it all figured out, and it's no like obligation for you to do that. But if you do decide this is what you want to do, I always encourage everybody to go full into it because the moment you kind of hold back, you kind of only hurt yourself and kind of what you want to chase at that point, and not anybody else.
Right?
Does that make sense? So yeah.
Would you? So I feel like a lot of people listening would be, Twitch streamers or aspiring Twitch streamers or content creators or whatever. But like, do you think? I see this a lot on Twitter, but people who are just starting out are looking for editors. They're like, hey, looking for an editor. Like, okay, so my first question would be like, one, do you think it's necessary to get an editor early on, or do you think people should learn on their own? And two, like, how much do you think people should be paying for editors? Like what are the price ranges? Like what can people expect to spend on a half decent editor?
So to answer the first question, I think if you're just starting to work on your videos, you should be editing your videos for at least 5 years minimum, 3 to 5 years minimum before looking for an editor. For a couple of reasons. Number one, I always like to think of it as like a thing where you've given ingredients to a chef and you've said, right, use these to cook me something to eat. And they have no idea what you like. They have no idea what your content's like. You have no idea what kind of things you enjoy, what kind of things you appreciate in a video. And by you kind of taking those ingredients and using them yourself, you can develop your own taste, your own style, your own flavor, kind of work it into a product you're happy with. And if you do that for a certain amount of time and you get skilled at making your videos the way you like them, you can then either look for an editor, but in most cases, people look at you to work with you because at that point you've built a community up that like your content enough to want to work with you or work on them. And then you can easily say to somebody, right, I like this kind of edit, I like this kind of, this kind of cut, I like this kind of transitions, I like these kinds of titles. And you can be really precise and intricate with them and get pretty much exactly what you're after. And they can understand and communicate better with you because you know the lingo, the terminology, everything that goes under the umbrella for editing your own videos. So that's kind of what I would say for the first question is work on it yourself until a point where people start looking for you. And for the prices and stuff, that really comes down to like experience and what you need to pay for, because I don't know, it's a lot more business centric than just going, oh, 150 or 250 a video. It's like, do you have any overheads you got to pay for? Are you an editor looking to, it's like the classic business 101, like what are my outgoings for this kind of thing? It's building up that business side of your business. It's like, okay, I pay rent, I've got electricity bills to pay for, internet to pay for, I've got this and this, I've got Twitch subscriptions to add on. What's my yearly? What's my day rate? And then that's it. Or what's my kind of per project rate? And when it comes to paying editors, I know a lot of people are looking at going cheap. That's one thing that I've seen a lot on Twitter is, oh, I can do a video for $50 or for, for 20. I'm like, if for one, if you're offering that much, you need to rethink the industry you're in, and two, if you're going to buy that kind of stuff, you need to be very careful because you can't. There's such a thing as too cheap when it comes to creative services because they're not going to put that much effort into it. If you're paying somebody $50 a video, you're gonna get $50 worth of stuff back. If that makes sense.
I feel like that applies to all things in life, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. So just be careful with that. Like from somebody who's looking for an editor as well as somebody who's going to be selling the services. Put what you're worth down. Don't be scared to put I want 150 a video or 200 a video based on what you're comfortable sharing. If your level of work is extremely high, and I mean, like I'm going to up and say, hey, Harris pays me $350 a video. And there's, that's, 2 videos a week. So you can do the math on that one. But that's because I've had 10 years of experience at it, and he knows what my worth is because I've demonstrated it.
Is that actually the price?
Yeah, that is legit my price. And I'm okay sharing that because it gives insight to other editors and other creatives in the industry.
Exactly. I was gonna say, like, you can find people on Fiverr that are charging it, but you still don't know like what their skill level is.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
There's like not like an open market that you can shop for this kind of thing. If that makes sense.
Things like LinkedIn. There's things like LinkedIn that have like like people people forget about LinkedIn an awful lot when it comes to finding editors or finding creatives at work. And there's like freelancer and I think it's Upwork. I think it's called. One of those two places have. Freelancers and all that they do all that kind of stuff. So it is very much kind of just placing a price on what you think you're worth. And I always like to say go a little bit above it. If you want to charge $100, charge $150 because you are worth more than what you think you are because of the skills you have. But don't right at the gate start thinking you're Walter Murch or something, some kind of famous film editor because you know how to use Premiere after one day.
Right.
You got to build your experience and know how to cut things first, and then you can start ramping up the price.
I think that's an incredibly like valuable and good take, honestly, because one thing I was just thinking while you're talking is like, a lot of Twitch streamers and YouTubers actually like share the same editor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I've noticed that often. So I feel like sometimes the content, across different channels may end up looking very, very similar. Because like it's the same guy making the videos.
So what's funny? I almost actually tweeted it out. I can't remember if it was Muffin or if it was Lupin. He used the exact same thumbnail, but changed the font for like it was Albert Laley and Hale.
Yeah,
it was like
I know
the
Lupin.
same video. Yeah, I mean his videos are great, but I like it was funny because in my subscriptions feed I saw them both right next to each other. I was like.
I know who edited those kind of thing.
Yeah,
one thing I have seen, back to the price thing real quick. One thing I have seen YouTubers do, and I think this is a message to more kind of creators in general. Please pay editors more because I feel like I've got a really good relationship with Harris to the point where he he always credits me with the success of Alpha Gaming because before I joined, the channel was actually going downhill. Like shortly after that massive success hype. He was starting to lose money. He was starting to lose views. He was mentally kind of putting himself to bits because he was trying to get 2 videos in a week. He also edit and, with his wife and everything. So he was mentally putting himself in 6 different directions. And until I came along and kind of lifted off some of that burden for him, the channel was going downhill. And you can actually, he's shown it on stream that before I came along, the channel was slowly doing that. And I come along and he goes like that. It's very weird. So that's a very humbling thing for me is like to have that kind of like, I guess like that kind of impression on someone to be able to kind of lift them a little bit higher to, take off some of that stress. But at YouTube content creators need to kind of pay editors more. And one thing I've seen doing is they give them a flat rate plus a percentage of ad revenue, which is depending on what the video makes, they get like a bit extra so that you could, charge $150 video plus 10% ad revenue, on top of that for that particular video. So that's like, okay, it's made $300. There's an extra $30 on top for that, which I find is a pretty unique way of kind of always, giving back to the editor for the art work. Giving like, it's a bit like a tip, I guess you could say. So
Yeah,
Nope.
I think that's a really good,
I think Boom's muted.
fantastic insight. Yeah, Boom is muted.
Oh, sorry. I said, yeah, incentive as well. Excuse me.
It's okay.
That's it, Boom.
Yeah, incentive as well, yeah, for sure.
No, so they get a piece if, they think something's really exceptional.
Yeah.
And they just like, wish I could have charged more for this. Like, this is
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
do really well.
Yeah.
And I think some.
Sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, as someone who like runs his own channel, like part of my fear of, well, I guess hesitation with hiring an editor is like, yeah, like it is expensive to get someone really good, and like, like if you start doing the math and like, okay, if I pay someone $300, then like if say if the video only makes $600, or even if it made $1,000, that's like a good portion of that video's AdSense,
Yeah.
But I think one guy I actually know actually takes on quite a bit of sponsorships. Like he just uses that sponsorship money to like cover his editor costs. So like that's another way of looking at it. It's like, hey, it's not like 50% of your ad rev or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
You could kind of like offset that cost by making money in different ways besides just ad revenue.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about like being a YouTuber and being a streamer being like the next cool thing for like kids?
Oh, for kids?
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think we're entering a new age where people are discovering that like you can monetize what you're good at and kind of build on that a little bit. I think so many people get caught up on the idea of what's the word? They love the idea of being a YouTuber until they realize how much hard work goes into it. They kind of quickly go, actually, you know what? Maybe it's not for me.
Yep.
And I think that's going to happen a lot. But that's just the way I see it is it was the same in the 50s with TV shows and TV. When TV was being a big thing, everybody wanted to be on TV. When movies were starting to become popular, there was a boom in the boom in the 70s and 80s. Everybody wanted to be Clint Eastwood. Like it was one of those things where it's part of societal change and kind of how we perceive the modern world. Social media is a massive thing, and it's going to consume everyone in terms of kind of what they want to achieve in life. They go, I love seeing this person's traveling the world on Instagram, and it's like it's part of it, but I think it's just adapting to the times pretty much.
My nieces and nephews want to be YouTubers. It's cute.
Yeah,
like it's like 30% or something, right?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Some percentage.
I think there's a big misconception out there too, that people think that you can just upload a video a day and eventually like the algorithm's just going to catch me one day. And it's like, me personally, I probably put out 300 videos over the a certain time span. I couldn't tell you how long it was. And it was like every once in a great while I'd get one that would kind of take off and then it would just peter out, and that was it. And it was like I tried staying with it for as long as I could, but I started way too late in the game for it, and I was just like, it's just not worth it for me anymore, And it's like, it's a little frustrating, but I also blame myself too, because I was one of those guys that like just didn't put a lot of effort into it. I learned like the bare basics of like, I have 30 minutes of gameplay and I know how to cut scenes out of it, you know? And I don't know. It's just like weird how many people are out there putting out videos, but like, to be honest, like most of them are just bad. Like it's just bad content. Yeah. And then they scratch their heads wondering like where they went wrong. And then I think you're the example of like the antithesis of that, where if you put the time and effort into the editing, it could be good. People could be like, hey, recommend this to my friend.
For sure. Yeah. And I think there's a little thing there, which was like, like, oh, you said something then. The spark something, and now it's gone, and I've completely lost it.
That's the beer talking.
I think it was something to do with the YouTube algorithm and stuff like that. But like, I'll get into a whole discussion about that as well. But
please do.
But like, I think for most people, that was it. It was the idea of like uploading videos, like because content is can be quite bad, and it made me think about, weirdly enough, not to put any kind of spotlight or anything, but it made me think of podcasts in a weird way. Because not so much like because of the fact that like they're so easy to get into, but not everyone has experience in doing them, and no one can do them well. Or a Twitch highlight video, for example, people just do it because they think, oh, I'll cut to my highlight video, put it up on YouTube, and that will get views, and then people come to my Twitch channel or whatever. No one's looking for, your Twitch highlights video or your podcast when you're just starting out. It's different. You have a community that know you, like you guys. You've built audiences. You guys know that they'll watch this because of the audiences and the community you've built, that you've cultivated. Whereas people are just starting out, they always look at a podcast and go, "Oh, I can make it. It's easy. I'll just get 3 of my friends to come in and talk about any rant. We'll shoot the crap or whatever. And we'll just talk about anything."
Yep.
And it's like lazy man's content when you're first starting out, in my opinion. That's my humble opinion, but like it's just, I always think that if you're just loading a 3-hour podcast, you're expecting to get instant views, and some people do this and they do it for like 3 weeks and wonder why their channel hasn't exploded.
Yep.
Or even less than that, and go, well, this doesn't work. YouTube, you gotta get lucky to go, big on YouTube. It's like you've been doing it for 3 weeks. Or a week, and you upload 3-hour podcast, 1 3-hour podcast a week. Are you kidding me?
It's so accessible. I think that's the cool thing about content creation, editing, YouTube streaming. Like anybody can really do it. Like pretty low threshold of like you just need some hardware, and then all you got to do is hit record. But that's kind of like the double-edged sword. Is then people think it's easy because like the record button is easy, and they don't think about like, are they trying to say anything? Or would they even watch what they are uploading? Like low effort videos or podcasts or content, whatever. Like, do you watch that? Like, and I think if they were being honest with themselves, they'd say no. I wouldn't even watch myself. And I think that is people ask me quite a bit, like, oh, I want any advice, like getting into streaming or YouTube or whatever. And I used to say like, make sure that your audio sounds really good, your video is good, like watch your replays to make sure that, there's quality there. So it's not like hard to watch you and be engaged with your audience. And then I got a little bit tougher where I was like, well, it's better to like start somewhere else, like, go to YouTube, TikTok, and try to draw audience to Twitch. And now like, I think I'm at the toughest love level yet, where somebody asks me and I say, be more entertaining than your favorite person. Because that is now the bar. Like, are you, do you rage harder than Shiv? Are you more accurate than Hal? Like, are you funnier than Huge Poner? Than
no one can be funny.
You said Huge Poner, not Dale Douche.
Do you have more finishes than Jokey?
Do you have more finishers than Jokey?
Exactly.
Because like, it's still life and still fight for survival. So go differentiate yourself. Go survive. Do something exceptional. So.
Dude, that's like 10 steps ahead of so Sam. Sometimes I go onto Reddit and like go to like r/YouTubers or r/.
Oh, I completely abandoned Reddit when like for those kind of things. I'm like I've.
It's fascinating to see like people's like train of thought in that sort of beginning stages, because a lot of them are like almost blissfully willfully ignorant of themselves. Like they'll think, I don't know what's going on. I've been making videos for 2 years. I've uploaded hundreds of videos, and like they think their content is like really good, And I was talking to this one guy because I don't know. I just like to help,
dive in,
dive in and help because I like talking about it. And he was like the most negative, like he had like a very like grating personality. Like he was just so bitter about everything, and he was like so defeatist about it. And I was like, no, let's take a look at this. Here are things you can change, and like, and like he just had like a okay, I guess kind of attitude. And I'm just like,
I'm with you,
dude. Like, like if I can't help you. Like you have to like look at yourself, be honest with yourself, and just be like, yo, like my content isn't very good. And like honestly, like I feel like most people start out like their content isn't very good.
I wasn't when I first started, and that is like that self-awareness of what you're doing and what you're making. I think is probably the single differential factor between somebody who's successful as a content creator and somebody who isn't. Because if you can be aware of what you're doing, and you go, right, I'm going to put this video out. I want to see how well it does, and it doesn't do well. Okay, what can I change? And honestly, for the most part, 95% of the things that can make a video better is your title and your thumbnail. that is the crudest fact.
All about impressions.
Yeah, it's your title and your thumbnail are trash. Your video's fine, or your video's,
could be better.
Passable.
Yeah, it's passable to be as a decent watch. Your title and thumbnail are rubbish. Change those.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people to focus on those two. Well, I have like a grid. I have like a ranking system for what I think is priority on YouTube. And apart from title and thumbnail, for like videos, value has to come first. Like the value of the video, the value that you bring has to come first. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What can you explain well? Are you a teacher? Can you are you like no code is really good, guides on Apex? What is it that you do that's really, really good? And that's number one. The second one is quantity. How many videos can you get out a week? How many videos do you want to get out a week? And then the last one is quality, weirdly enough. And most people go, why that order? And I always think because quality is subjective to the person watching.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can, like a Twitch stream, like XQC, his stream is about as scuffed as an old leather boot,
dude.
Right?
Yeah.
But he's
Basic.
entertaining, and you can watch him because of the character and the performance he puts on. His stream doesn't matter. No one cares what the camera is using or the microphone is using or the game is playing. They're there for him. That is like the value he brings, and the quality isn't there. He brings more value than he does quality because it's subjective to his audience. They like to watch him. So I always have to say, if you're going to do 2 videos a week, plan the quality of those videos around the quantity that you can manage. So if you want to upload daily, you're going to have faster editing times, or you're going to have to get on the ball with use templates to speed things up, get template projects set up. So you need to drop a video in and cut the bits out that you don't want, and then you're sorted. Export done. Or do you want to put more time into creatively kind of manipulating, do more graphics, more designs and stuff? So that's like the 3 main core aspects that I kind of tend to focus on in that order.
I hate it when people look at a channel that's doing well or a popular video or whatever, and they say oh man, this video is so shit, like you should watch someone else's video because their video is so much better edited or whatever. I'm like, this is I mean, I'm like, I want to be like, dude, I hate to tell you this, but we're in a market driven society, right? YouTube is I mean, there's a reason why McDonald's is this giant mega corporation, right? And I mean, there's certain things, just if it gets views, I mean, if it gets views and gets attention, it's valid in my opinion, that not everything has to be the most perfectly edited, perfectly cut everything, there's just some the most popular clips on YouTube are this just stuff people film, with for 5 seconds. But that's not saying that's gonna work necessarily. I guess my point was just more if you're looking at the kind of content you want to make, you have to kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say
too much focus on production value can take away from what kind of content you want to make.
Exactly. Thank you.
That kind of, people are so focused on the right camera, the right microphone, the right lighting, they forget, what's my video about? What topics am I covering? How am I going to make this work on YouTube? What's the title? What's the thumbnail? The core main parts of what's going to make a video work. You have to click on your video to see your camera, your microphone, and don't get me wrong, there's a synergy between one and the other. If people click on your video and you got a microphone that was from 2006 that you used for Xbox Live, and it sounds really, really trash, no one's going to stay around to watch the video.
Yeah.
So certain levels of production value make sense, but because there's so much of a focus on, I mean, people showing off all these people. Everyone wants a red camera, more or less, on YouTube. Everyone's like, "Oh, I want a red camera."
A red camera. Those are thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars, and I'm like, I see these people commenting or suggesting I can't that a red camera will, or as an example, I've seen people say a red camera would, I would be happy with the camera. My quality would be so much more better, and I'm like, you can get a red camera and you can film a steaming pile of crap.
I was gonna say that.
It's gonna look better quality, but it's still a steaming pile of crap. Like
an 8K.
You know what I mean? In 8K, like it's gonna make no difference to the content you film. It's use what you've got, use the tools you've got, and build it up slowly. You know,
Dude,
this thing here is more than capable of getting started on YouTube.
I think Elgato has a app now where you can use your smartphone as the face cam. Like that's
Epoch Cam, I think it's called.
Is it Elgato? I didn't even know if it was Elgato.
Yeah, I think it is Elgato. Yeah, it's Epoch Cam. We've done videos on it, I think. So I'm like, educated in that in that little bit there. So,
dude,
let me ask you guys about something real quick.
Yeah,
because something Sam was just talking about, and Candy, you were also hinting on it, was about like, you know, how we're a demand-driven market of, you know, content, right? I see a lot of times on YouTube videos that have been ripped from a streamer's VOD, right? And people do that because they get views. They'll pull out things that guys like Lupin and those guys just won't make a video out of, but people still like seeing that. And it makes me wonder, like when I see, you know, Deltouche, for example, he'll complain about it. A lot of his stuff gets ripped off. Hal, a lot of his stuff gets ripped. I literally watched a Hal rip-off video today. Guilty as charged, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean, Code Miko has also been victim of that.
Yep.
She doesn't do her own videos, and so people just pull stuff and upload it. And there's, you know, I saw one with like 250,000 views the other day.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's insane.
But it makes me wonder, like, if people are watching these to such a great extent that the people that they're ripping off know about them, why not hire someone to do that exact same kind of thing? You know, like why doesn't anyone ever just say, you know what, there is a market for that, so I'm going to do it better because this guy is just some random video editor who's ripping off my content. Like, what's your thought on that?
Shroud kind of has done that. He's kind of gone ahead.
Shroudy Rowdy. That's why that account
exists. Is that his account?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
That's what I thought.
Can I go pee real quick? You guys continue on.
Nope.
But
diaper.
Yeah, you weren't. You're not wearing your gamer catheter.
Goodness me.
No, what's your thoughts on that, Sam?
On the subject of that, I think because here's the thing. So it depends. I guess it depends heavily on money. Like, is that content rip going to stop that streamer making money?
No.
Like, and I think that's the mindset that most streamers are like. It's like, let's rip from my stream. They may make a couple of bucks off of it, but I've earned thousands more because it was from, you know, people saw it first on my stream.
Sure.
And I think that's probably where most people, like, the cost of hiring somebody to do that and to keep on top of that would be like limited return to maintain, like the cost for what's the term now? When it's like,
yeah, the return on investment.
Return on investment would
because
be,
there's like there's now a burden that you have to overcome of $100, $200 a video. Where it's like, will it make more than that? Like guaranteed?
Exactly. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's also free advertisement. You know,
that is true.
Right. You literally had somebody pull a clip from your stream, throw it on YouTube, and now people are gonna know more about Tim the Tatman or you know, Shroud or whatever from that clip, and maybe even the uploaders put the link in the description. And most of the time, people know who these streamers are. That it's not going to impact them in any negative way. Like, it's not going to make anything like, you know, it's not going to cost them millions. You know, it may bring a few extra more viewers to the channel, but if you're going to be like something like, you know, like Tim the Tatman's got like 40,000 viewers a stream, and some guy who's like a 10-second clip from your video from your stream and throwing it up, it's just, I think the ROI on it is just little to nothing for big streamers to think about.
Yeah, and those are kind of like the points that like I was also kind of considering as I thought about this, and I'm like, I just don't, I don't like, I understand being upset about it, but if anything, it may just help bring more viewership to that channel, because like the video I watched today was literally just banter with Hal, RPR, and I can't remember who the third was off the top of my head. And it was funny. Like, it was really funny. I was like, well, RPR is like well known, but not everyone knows who he is. So maybe people go watch him because he was the funniest one of the group.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
yeah,
hilarious.
I don't know. Like the whole concept of people getting upset about getting their stream VOD ripped and uploaded is a little odd to me, honestly. But I hear it complained about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Lulu Lovely did a stream where she watched Apex clips and she was in them. It was
right,
her stream was Apex clips, and she made money off of that person's video that they from their stream, like because of all the subs when she was live to watch it, the bits that would be played back. So she got money during the stream, and she got money reacting to the video from clips pulled from other people's streams as well. So I don't think it's gonna be one of those things that medium to large streamers should really worry about, because it's, again, like, to have somebody you're going to pay to do the same thing, you could make more money reacting to those ones that somebody did for free than hire somebody to do it for you. Does that make sense? So,
I think you could also, I mean, if they really want to, I'm pretty sure those streamers could
take them down.
No, not take them down and monetize them through Content ID. Like if I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah,
you could put your whole VOD through Content ID, and it would find that bit and go, you can skip the video, but the money's going to go to the streamer now.
Right. That's what I would do. If I was a streamer and people were ripping my shit and I was that bothered about it, like, I would just, figure out a way to get Content ID, whether that's through an MCN or on my own, and just have it auto track my clips. Yep. And just monetize the percentage, that's in their videos, and it just goes to me. I mean, that would be. I mean, that's pretty massive. Like, I don't know. I just feel like those highlight clips can get quite high view counts.
For sure. Yeah.
Candy, you are a streamer.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
you're like if I was a streamer.
I was like, wait a minute.
Didn't you peak at 1,200 views or something recently?
No, but like. To me, like, I feel like Boom is more of a streamer than I am, because, like, sure, like,
I agree.
Like I don't know, because, like, Boom, like, he's there for it. Like, he's like, that's his main platform. Like, I think Boom is a fantastic streamer, but for me, it's like more of like a hobby thing that, like, honestly, like, lately I've been feeling that like streaming. So, like, I just retreat back to my YouTube hole. You know what I mean? But
that's kind of what. I think we discussed about this the other day as well, Boom. It was like, are you a YouTuber that streams, or are you a streamer that does YouTube?
Does seem like you gotta choose.
Those are two different things. Like, and I think with you and me, you and me, Candy, like, I definitely feel like a YouTuber that streams.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if it's, if anybody else feels in any way, shape, or form like that, but, like, yeah, that's just, for me, that's what I've comfortably sat in, and I've always found it interesting that. It's weird because it goes one way, it doesn't go back the other way, that YouTubers or streamers can pick up YouTube pretty easily. However, long-time YouTubers find it difficult to stream.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because, like, people like Logan Paul and things like that, he did a stream on Twitch like a few years ago, and he literally, like, he was fine for 10 minutes, and then after that he was just completely boring. And I think for like long-term YouTubers, like, people that aren't in this space, I mean, like, I wouldn't necessarily know how. I'm trying to think of a streamer.
I'm thinking of
gaming YouTuber that doesn't stream as well.
Oh, I thought Jacksepticeye and all those guys recently started streaming on Twitch, and they're pretty successful at it. But I think it's the style. For a while.
Yeah, I think it's the style.
The style of their content, anyways, is pretty much like streaming. Like, they do Let's Plays and stuff. So
long form.
I think it's the people that do, like, other things outside of gaming that try streaming. That they try and get out, and they find it quite difficult to get the the rhythm right. They're not that they can't sustain an audience for longer than 10 minutes or for 15 minutes or whatever. And I found that quite interesting, because that was one thing that I noticed on when working with Iris, was a lot of those things where we're kind of coming to me, was like, oh, I'm noticing like YouTubers aren't really clicking with Twitch all that well, or like I'm talking about people that have been on the platform for years that aren't necessarily in the gaming sphere. That's really quite interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely like an endurance kind of thing with Twitch.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't have that kind of stamina, so
I can't do a 7-hour stream. I've done 24-hour streams and all that in the past, and I get bored after like 6 hours. I'm like, what the hell?
My throat gets all phlegmy and stuff. Like, what do you guys do to unphlegm your throat after like 4 hours of talking?
Drink the blood of my enemies.
Yeah,
there we go.
Oh my god. Wait,
Sing a song, maybe.
Quick timeout. When should we end? Because I gotta jump and eat dinner soon.
I was
How long are
thinking,
we
yeah,
going for? Holy
like
crap.
yeah, almost an hour. So I was gonna start wrapping it up soon. I
Okay.
was gonna have like one more comment, and then I was gonna bring it to our closing question.
Okay. Do you want to do like one more? Is it the closing question or like a closing question?
A closing question.
I was just gonna ask him about his favorite gaming memory. But
Color.
if you guys have a favorite,
I have.
or another question.
Well, yeah, I want to do one more question and then we could do that one.
Okay.
I want
what's
to
your
ask.
question?
Okay. So Sam, I want to ask you if you can give one tip for someone, and maybe we can like all take turns on giving this, but maybe one tip for someone just starting out on Twitch or YouTube. What would it be? One thing.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Just one tip?
One.
Oh, wow.
What would you tell him? What'd you tell him?
I mean,
Subscribe
It
to
could
my
be a
YouTube channel. I'm
package.
kidding. Yeah.
Let's have a scenario. There's a 15-year-old prodigy at a game, and
Yeah.
they say, "I want to become a YouTuber and Twitch streamer, and I want that to be my job." Give them
My
your
job.
honest advice, not just one tip. How about
Okay.
that?
just
Does
the
that
tip.
work?
Just the tip.
Yeah.
All right,
I
I'm
think-
out.
I think.
Oh wait,
think if you-
cut
if
that
you
out
just
of the podcast. Oh my god.
No, leave it in.
This is a child's candy.
Cut it out. Goodness me. I think if you're just starting out, you need to be aware that I think the biggest thing that's missing from a lot of starting streamers, starting YouTubers, and I think it's been a problem for the last couple of years, especially as the platforms and the genres and the way things work kind of get more popularized. And that is the one thing that content creators, I think, have learned but don't really express a lot is to be patient. Is that if you are wanting to kind of make this a career, you should try different things, be patient, and be self-aware of what you're doing. And if you go, like, seriously treat like a business. Like, if you want to make it your career, you got to start treating like a business and go, okay, if I want to get as many people in my stream as possible, what do I do? Do I make videos? Like YouTube Shorts are a big thing I recommend getting into. TikTok's a big thing I recommend getting into. Make sure you're posting content to platforms that are going to pull in new audiences. And then start treating how you stream like a business. You know, don't stream every day for 8 hours on a single game with 0 viewers. Go stream 2 days a week and then spend the rest of the time making content either from those streams or dedicated content that you can help grow your channel. And just be patient. It's gonna be if you want to last 10 years, this career to build over 10 years and kind of make you be successful, it's going to take time, and that's kind of the biggest thing that I think I can just preach to people is do everything you can in a single day, but be aware that it could take you 10 years to get to where you want to be. And I think that's got to be the biggest thing to people is just understand that and you'll be fine.
I like that take. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, the reason
Andy, you spent how long trying to become a YouTuber before you got to this point? Like
I feel like I feel like I want to start my counter like a year or two ago because like the previous 4 years behind that. So I started in 2015. Like 2019 was really where I started like actually be able to do it full time. So I feel like 2015 and 2019 or even to now, like you could technically say I've been doing it for 6 years, but I feel like those first 4 was like learning and like
Learning.
Yeah. And like, sure, I had like limited success. Like, I got my channel to 100,000 subscribers or whatever, but like, it wasn't like lasting success. And honestly, like those videos back then, I look at it and I'm like, I kind of cringe at them. So like, you're always kind of improving and you're always kind of growing. And I don't know, I would say for me, like my YouTube career, I would say it just started like, cause I just finally got through like YouTube college, like the school of just learning and failing and but the reason why I asked Sam about that one tip trick question was because my tip would be, especially seeing just on social media, people talking about the grind. I've been grinding out Twitch and been grinding out for years and we're grinding 10 hours a day streams and they try to like whip himself up in like in a frenzy of like motivation. And motivation is great, and getting like inspired is great, but I think it's a very temporary, fleeting feeling, especially when you start looking at the scale of how much time this can take. You know, like sure you can get like wrapped up and like super motivated to like do this and edit every day for like a week, maybe a month, but then like as like the ravages of time kind of close in and the months become like 6 months and then a year, it's really hard to stay motivated, especially if you don't see success, or even any movement. So my advice would be, instead of focusing on motivation and trying to like grind it out and just slamming your head into a wall, you should develop like habits out of working on your channel. So you get to a point where like every day you sit down for an hour or 2 hours or 30 minutes or whatever, working on whatever it is you want to do, like so editing videos, and get it to a point. I think they say usually takes about 6 to 6 days or 2 months to develop a habit. Get to a point where like it feels weird not to be working on a video every day or thinking about the next thing you want to do. Like it has to feel weird to the point where like if you don't work on a video for a day, it's like if you didn't shower for that day, or if you didn't brush your teeth,
or show up to work.
Yeah, it's like that way. So like that way when motivation fails you, and that's what that way when like you feel like just like not feeling it, like you at least have that like
work ethic,
right? That like that rhythm, like to kick you into it, because you're not gonna feel great every day. But if it feels weird, and if you're used to doing it every day for an hour at a scheduled time, or I don't even know if it even has to be at a scheduled time, but I did. I think that would carry you way further.
Carry you further. There we go. English.
So that's my one tip. I don't know.
That's cool.
Damn. Oh, I'm gonna write that down later.
There we go. That's helpful for you, Boom, for sure.
Something that I think I would tell somebody that's starting out, and this is something that I'm starting to put into practice myself, is to look at channels that you can be a student of. So find content that you love and try to emulate that. And also just you can have that, I don't know, that mindset that like you're learning and trying to improve and then see what's successful. So even just in my space, for example, I think the best thumbnails right now in Apex are being done by Timmy. I think the best long form content is being done by Candy. I think the best edited stuff is being done by Macro. And like those are all things that I'm trying to learn from and emulate, and then put my own spin on, because that's a really great way to learn is comparing yourselves to content that you think is exceptional.
I'm not going to give advice. I can give my opinion though, if you guys will have it.
Well,
Punter,
I want your advice, dude.
Yeah, I want to hear that advice, dude.
So,
or opinion. Okay, fine. Give your opinion.
My opinion is, if you're going to get into content creation, you either have to bring a superb personality and editing skill to the table, or you have to be cracked out of your mind at whatever game you're playing. And I think a lot of the Apex pros will tell you, like, I think both NRG Sweet and Hal, they didn't stream until they were signed and winning competitions. Well, maybe not Hal, but Sweet has said that. And the reason being is because they just felt like they, whatever reason, they didn't have the gumption or whatever. And now they're like the biggest names in Apex, among the biggest names at least. And I've seen a lot of people who are really good at the game, but they need their big break. And I'm not going to name names here, but there's one streamer I'm thinking of in particular who I've known for a long time, and they know me, and like we've been cordial. We're not like friends or anything, but he just recently started having a lot of success, and it's because he just kept at it, and he's also very good at the game. And now he's pulling pretty good numbers, and he's making it a thing. And then you get the really rare occasion where someone's got a great personality and they're also insane at the game. And there's a few people in Apex that really come to mind, and that's Daltouches, your Luz, guys like that who are just like
Shiv,
Yeah, Shiv's a
Boom
good
Razzle.
example.
Entertainers that are cracked.
Boom Razzle.
Boom
Razzle. But they literally bring the best of both worlds to the table, and you watch their streams, they've been exploding, especially in the last 3 months to 6 months. Like the growth for those guys is just insane, and it just keeps on going. So that would be my advice to someone is like, you need to have one of those two things. And if you don't, then you need to figure it out before you start going, or else you're just going to disappoint yourself.
Yeah, it's
You
more
gotta
realistic
sound-
advice, dude.
All valid points.
Yeah.
It's advice and opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're wrapping it up. We're coming to the close of another wonderful podcast. There were some tears, there were some laughs, and we always end it the same way because we haven't thought of a better way to end it. We ask our guests
Fact.
Oh my
the
god.
same questions, so that way we can eventually make a montage of these questions.
Is
Sam,
that the long game? Is that your long con this whole time?
That's my final piece of stream advice. Play the long game. You want to
Long
be
game.
planting seeds in your content for future
God.
montages.
I can't.
10-year plan. Sam, what is your fondest gaming memory?
Oh, the first, I say the fondest is for me was. Do you guys? I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an old PlayStation 1 game, the old Spider-Man one, Spider-Man on PlayStation 1, where.
No.
That was a
You don't remember that?
horizontal.
Oh,
That was a
No,
side-to-side platformer.
it
was
was
it?
the first one where you could web swing.
Oh wow!
Like it was like a 3D one where you could web swing from building to building, and it was like Doc Ock was the enemy and all that, and graphics were polygonal, like there was no detail at all. It was old PlayStation 1. You could only swing twice before, like the buildings are only so far apart. You could web swing twice. And that game has just got fun. That was like my first video game that I played, that I vividly remember spending hours at a time just playing, like doing the same levels over and over and over and over again for no reason other because I enjoyed it. And then kind of like doing that with like my dad at the time. At the time, when my dad was like, playing games like Hercules. Just the PlayStation 1 for me was just got so many fun memories in terms of just in experiences. So that's probably my fondest one.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Well, Sam,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us on 3Stack. We really
you for having
appreciate
me.
having you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a blast.
I appreciate it.
And that's it.
There we go.
That's a wrap.
Cut there.
Cut, seal,
Ship
There
it.
we go.
Cool. All right.
Can your kid
There we
is kid awake yet?
No, he's still asleep, but I think my wife is about to reheat everything from earlier, and I'm trying to tell her not to. Because I'm
Like from your fridge?
We heat everything in the house.
because we had dim sum earlier, so like we
okay.
we ordered like $80 worth of it, and so like it's enough for like 2.5 meals, maybe even 3. So I'm
I
trying
may
to tell her
order
like
ramen.
not to heat up the entire other half.
Right now,
wonder if
Sam.
there's
Where
right
can
now.
you get
Right now.
ramen
No, it's-
midnight
well,
on
it's-
Eastern in the UK?
On Easter. I'm talking about tomorrow. I was like, I might order
Oh, okay.
like a chicken gyoza ramen or something tomorrow, and have
Oh.
like a
Oof.
full on, just indulge myself.
Indulge.
We shall see.
Dude, Sam, thank you so much for like hopping on with us. I know you're
No worries. at all.
so famous, so busy.
Oh, dude, I hate attributing the word fame to myself. I really do. Because I don't see myself as famous,
Right.
like or that like I've done anything yet. I still suffer with imposter syndrome an awful lot. I still go, why are you all like, why do people want to watch me for like what I say when, But it's just little moments that like seal it for me. Like there's one big thing which seals it all for me, which was my next door neighbor, his grandson actually watches my videos, and I inspired him to start the same kind of career that I started.
Damn.
And he's like 13, 14.
That's so cute.
At around the same time, like same age as I was when I first started. And that kind of for me was like, that's the reason I do what I do, is I enjoy having those little moments and those little experiences. And yeah, that kind of helps it for me. So
Yeah.
I used to feel the same way, I was like, "Oh, like I'm not somebody on YouTube or
Dude,
Twitch."
Poner's really funny. That's the thing. You have a personality. You could do it if you wanted to, but I understand.
Yeah, but the thing I was gonna say though is, so I had like a TV being installed at my house, and it's this younger kid and his friend. They come over, and they're like, "Oh, you know, are you gonna play any games on this TV? You know, this is a sick TV." And I was like, "Nah, like I'm more of a PC guy anyway." And he's like, "Oh, what do you play?" And I was like, I like Apex Legends." He's like, "Oh, I love Apex. That's like my thing." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like going off on it, and then
this is out of focus.
And then he brings up, he's like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "You know, I watch a lot of Twitch, a lot of YouTube and whatnot." And I was like, "What do you watch on YouTube?" And he's like, first thing he says, he's like, "Dude, I'm a big Candy Roo fan. I don't know if you know who that is."
Dude,
I'm like, "This is fucking not happening right now."
That's
and
so
I was
cute.
like, I'm like, "Yeah, I know Candy." And I was like, do you watch anyone else? And he mentioned Boom, and he's like, "Yeah, and they play with this other dude too. He's pretty cool." And I was like, "Oh yeah, who are you talking about?" And he's like, "Huge Poner." And I was like, "What if I told you I'm Huge Poner?" And the kid's like, "What? Why are you saying that?" And I was like, "I am Huge Poner." And he's like, "Get the fuck out." And then like I texted Candy right in front of him. I was like, "Candy, this kid installing my TV is talking
so
about
funny.
us." It was the wildest thing, man. The wildest thing.
That must be like it's like an out of body experience right there. It's like, whoa, am I in like a TV show right now? Because it's like so bizarre and so random.
That was when I knew. I was just like, Jesus Christ, we like people know who the fuck we are, like all over.
I am Huge Poner.
Exactly. Dude, I was just going to say that is the same energy as I am Iron Man.
Yeah, I am Iron Man.
That is exactly
at the podium. I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
AC/DC music just plays. Dude,
I mean, you've had people recognize you in public, right? Like the airport thing you told me about.
The thing is, I
the
don't really go
grocery
out.
store
I don't go out. So
I've had people recognize me.
Yeah,
I was in when I first landed in Utah last year because I went to Utah for like 10 days.
Sure.
Landed in Utah. I wanted to try In-N-Out for the first time. So Harris went to In-N-Out.
Overrated.
Yeah, it is. I agree. I prefer Wendy's. But I got somebody came over to us and said, "Oh my gosh, you guys are Alpha Gaming." I'm like, "Oh gosh,
holy crap!"
First time. Like
That's
instantly,
cool.
like that. I was like, "Oh my gosh." So yeah, it's nuts being able to like. I guess it's kind of weird and kind of fun. But it's kind of annoying that maybe one day if the channel gets big enough, that am I going to be at a place where I go pee and somebody goes, "You're that dude," you know? And I'm like, "Thanks." You know. So yeah, that's just been the thought I think linking in my mind. It's like it's really cool, but also very private. Like, you know.
Yeah. I got annoyed when I would show up in like someone's stream. I'm legitimately just like trying to talk to the streamer, and then people at you constantly. I'm just like, oh my god.
I had someone like it's so awkward for me because like it's just we go, "Oh my gosh, you're that. I watch your videos." I go, "Thanks." I'm trying to move on quickly because that's what I don't want to like. I try and like blend in. I'm like, I'm thinking about turning off my partner badge in chat just to kind of like blend in.
Can you do that?
You can.
Yeah, you can do that.
You can select what badges you display.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and just do that, just to kind of blend in and just go, "Yeah, I'm hi." Like I'm not who you think I am.
Maybe we should make Twitch Smurfs, you know, and just alternate accounts.
Just not Sam Woodhall. Man, that'd be kind of cool.
Dude, I wonder what's gonna happen. Yeah, so I have been recognized in public, but I'm kind of wondering what's gonna happen now. Like, you know, the pandemic lifts a little bit, everyone gets vaccinated. You know, like I don't know, like. Yeah, I don't know.
Your camera really doesn't want to focus, is it, Boom?
Yeah, what's going on with you, Boom?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just won't. It won't look at me anymore.
You know
That's
what?
all right.
My
That's
old
part
team-
cut. This is gonna be in the Spotify version, but not in the real.
Oh my
version.
God.
I don't even know yet. I don't even know.
My old C920 used to have that thing where it would like focus like very close
There
to
we
the
go.
focus, but not.
There we go.
There you go. Nice. You get stuck.
Noise.
All right, I'm gonna stop recording.